This neighborhood is cleaning up the damage that was left behind from last night's storm, but some areas were hit even worse. 80-mile-per-hour winds tore through the rooftops of 2 hangars and destroyed another hangar that was under construction. The storm also ripped the main door off its rollers, moving it almost 7 feet and damaging 2 planes. Sam Blue says it will slow down his business, but everything can be replaced.
Once the wind gets underneath the door and it folded in, once it lets the wind in, the roof comes off, and that's about it.
In the city of Red Wing, the damage from fallen trees closed Bay Point Park as city workers cut the hazardous deadfall apart. Many of the men performing the dangerous task come from the local correctional facility. They do the work for $1.50 an hour as part of the Inmate Community Work Crew program. For one woman, the biggest loss is the natural beauty of the park she has gone to for years.
Our boats can be fixed, marinas can be fixed, but the real tragedy here is our beautiful park, and we lost so many of our big trees, and I'll never see that again in my lifetime, and this is one of the gems of Red Wing, so it's really sad.
As the buzz of chainsaws continues to be heard throughout the city, Red Wing will continue to rebuild. Residents are advised to leave their deadfall on the curb for city workers to pick up. Reporting from Red Wing, this has been Kilat Fitzgerald, KTTC News Center.
Cleanup continues after Monday's storms. In Red Wing, inmates are leaving their cells to help tackle some big cleanup projects. News Center's Kilat Fitzgerald joins us with more on the story. Kilat.
Thanks, Jess. After a storm left behind a path of destruction, Red Wing utilized help from prison inmates to put their city back together. They're part of the program called ICWIC, or Institution Community Work Crews. The Minnesota Department of Corrections says the minimum security prison inmates do projects for local and state agencies, such as snow removal and roadside cleanup. After the events of Monday night, the workers set out to repair the storm damage at Bay Point Park, one of the gems of Red Wing. They are not allowed to make more than $1.50 an hour and are returned to the prison after their workday ends.
Each morning at 7 a.m. I can basically call the city and ask what do you need done, and whatever that task may be, that's what we do and get it accomplished. And today and the next few days, I'm guessing it's going to be storm cleanup. So they come out and they work like crazy, and they do an outstanding job. And at the end of the day, I return them to the correctional facility, and then I pick them up again the next morning at 7 a.m. So.
All on the crew are within the last 5 years of their sentence and have records of good behavior during their time incarcerated. The Department of Corrections hopes that offenders learn social and work skills while the community benefits from their labor. Reporting live in the studio, Kilat Fitzgerald, KTTC News Center.
Thank you, Kilat. They're reading Oasis. We're going to check in now with Kilat Fitzgerald.
Hi there, everyone. I'm here with Jim Anderson. We're sitting on the sidelines of Rochester Fest Parade right now. Jim, why have you come out every year for so many decades? What is so special about this that keeps you coming back?
My wife told me to. It's good entertainment for the city. Everybody gets out and sees what's going on.
And what is your favorite aspect of the entire thing? With all these beautiful floats, all these great people coming out, there's got to be one thing that sticks out.
Rochester Fest, the cheese curds.
Have you gotten your cheese curds today so far? I understand there was a block party over by Soldiers Field earlier.
I haven't made it there yet.
That's what you're looking forward to the most, cheese curds?
Betcha.
Well, we are in the Midwest, so you betcha. We're certainly going to enjoy some good stuff. And here we've got a great marching band coming up. You know they're always playing their heart out, of course, for Rochester Fest. I'm going to go ahead and let you hear what they got to play.
Thanks, Kilat. And just so you know, this is the John Marshall High School Marching Band.
Every morning, our team works together to bring you the news.
We start our days early, so you start yours in the know.
Good morning, Jess and Jacob.
Whether you're checking into traffic or weather or just checking in, we're here for you.
Got an excellent recipe to start here. We're talking. News continues to break, even when you're asleep.
It's been live there throughout the morning. Wow, what a scene behind you, Kilat.
We're here to tell you what happened overnight and what you need to know to start your day.
Watch KTTC News Center today, weekday mornings from 5 to 7.
Expect leadership every morning.
Is later on around 49 for our Tuesday.
Gonna have to get used to that wind. Thanks, Ted.
You're welcome.
Development plans for a new hotel, tax dollars for the Bloom Riverfront project, and additional security at the Mayo Civic Center. 3 headlines from a busy night at Rochester City Council.
The city and Bloom International Realty agreed earlier to $18 million in tax increment financing, or TIF, for the project. The council approved the TIF agreement with nearly $2 million more for extra parking spaces that would make up for the 2nd Street parking ramp, which is set to be demolished next year. It passed 5-1 with Council member Michael Wojak voting against it. The Bloom project includes 2 towers, commercial space, and public amenities along the Zubbro River between 2nd and 4th Streets southeast. The council also approved preliminary development plans for the 1102 project, which calls for a 5-story hotel with retail space directly across from St. Mary's, where Virgil's Auto Clinic currently stands. This after design revisions to make it more compatible with DMC goals.
The fog we've been showing you impacted a crash this morning when a semi caught fire. It happened just south of Stewartville. News Center's Kilat Fitzgerald has been on the scene all this morning, joining us live from Highway 63 with more on what happened. Good morning, Kilat.
Good morning, Jess. I'm here in the aftermath of where a semi-truck caught fire earlier this morning. As you can see, it was carrying ears of corn, and this entire mess is all that remains from the scene that played out here just a little after 3:30 this morning. Both lanes of traffic on Highway 63 are now open, and emergency vehicles have been cleared. It was brought away with an escort, and an Olmsted County deputy says that there are no reported injuries. A Bobcat arrived to help clean up the crash scene and scoop up most of the ears of corn that were left behind.
It is perhaps the slowest and most graceful way to take to the skies.
The hot air balloon has been a Rochester Fest staple for decades, and this morning we are taking flight. News Center's Kilat Fitzgerald is on an adventure right now. This morning he is many feet above the Soldiers Field area and joins us with more. Good morning, Kilat.
Good morning, Jacob and Jess. We're reporting live from what appears to be 1,500 feet in the air, if you want to be precise. This is part of the Mayor's Cup Balloon Rally. It's also something to send Mayor Brady off into retirement. He flies out of here in Rochester. This is all part of Rochester Fest. We're blessed with some beautiful skies right now after being rained out all week. We're trying really hard not to look down right now, but these balloons will be available for anybody that wants to book one. We've got a lot of good stuff coming at you from Rochester Fest today. Just enjoy the view above Rochester right now. We're so graciously taken on to the POW balloon, which was part of the Freedom Flight. This is actually Freedom Flight number 5, meant to bring awareness to our POW missing in action veterans. And coming up later in the day, we're going to have lots of good stuff from Rochester Fest. It's been the first sunny day we've had all week, and we're certainly going to be making the best of it. Reporting live from above Rochester at about 1,500 feet, this has been Kilat Fitzgerald, KTTC News Center.
Oh, wow. Good job, Kilat. Be safe.
You're a rock star.
Yeah, Stephen, our producer, is also in the balloon with him, so, you know, we're sending
good thoughts their way.
Yeah, and to the pilot as well.
Hopefully for a safe landing. Thank you guys so much.
Rochester police say weeks of calls from residents. After those calls, a troublesome turkey was shot by an officer. News Center's Kilat Fitzgerald joins us live from Southwest Rochester from the scene of all the commotion. Kilat.
Good afternoon, Jess. Police say they received complaints for the past month from residents in this area, Mayowood Road and 16th Street Southwest, and motorists who travel through this area. Police say they got 2 or 3 complaints a day about a very aggressive turkey. It can be seen here in a confrontation with a motorcyclist. The bird had garnered a reputation with locals as he impeded traffic and pecked at cars. Some gave the wild bird names like Jake or Todd. Police say officers in Rochester Animal Control spent 2 hours Tuesday trying to catch the male turkey after the tom chased a child on a bike. When Animal Control and police couldn't nab the turkey, an officer lured the bird away and shot it. The turkey died. Police say the bird will likely be buried at a mulch pile near the airport, where police often bury deer and other dead animals. Reporting live in Southwest Rochester, Kilat Fitzgerald, KTTC News Center.
Thanks. It's not something many people think about. Conditions in the county jail.
But Winona County officials are facing a fast approaching deadline to upgrade after the state says the facility could soon be shut down.
Kilat Fitzgerald has a look at what needs to be done.
We need to build a new jail. We need to get working on it soon. We need to finish our jail advisory meetings.
The facility has been under scrutiny for years, but now there is a definitive sunset date, September 30th, 2021, if it's not brought up to code. The state says the lack of security, sanitation, and sight lines make a dangerous environment for inmates and corrections workers alike.
So, I mean, the smell was horrible. The sinks are so corroded. They don't have any type of janitor system in there. Everything's rusted up. The paint on the floor is bubbling up from urination on the floor.
The cramped space makes it hard for officers to respond to emergencies.
And we haven't had anybody get seriously hurt, but I know me personally, I got slammed into this wall, and basically I was out of it for a few seconds.
Mental health concerns are also at play.
Because the environment that they're in is, again, not very conducive for it. So you have to have a combination of a secured facility, but just imagine being in here, we're so small, always, so tight and so small.
A series of short-term fixes have kept the facility functioning in recent years. But the state says that's no longer enough. In Winona, Kilat Fitzgerald, KTTC News.
Story. Good morning, Kilat.
Good morning. We are out here in front of the Galaxy 14 movie theater waiting in line for The Last Jedi, which will be opening here tonight. I'm standing here with Jeff Holmes, and the force is certainly strong with him. That's right. Jeff, you've been camped out here since last night. Could you please explain why it was important for you to be among the first to see The Last Jedi debuting today?
Well, I have to be here because it's Star Wars, and I want to be first in line to get into the IMAX so that I get the prime seat.
Mm-hmm. And I can see you have a limited edition Mace Windu purple lightsaber. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
I do. It's limited edition FX lightsaber. It's Mace Windu's because it's one of a kind, and he was probably one of the very few things good about the first series 1, 2, and 3. And anything worth doing is worth doing right, so you have to go with the Mace Windu lightsaber.
And Jeff, could you just explain to me what you're looking forward to the most about this new Star Wars movie? Are you in it for the action? Do you like seeing the family drama, the hero's journey in the classical sense? What is it you're looking forward to today?
Mostly I'm looking forward to the continuation of the storyline. We've been through it since...
For things to do tonight, we're here to help. News Center's Kilat Fitzgerald is live at one option at the Charter House in Rochester, where they have a lot of fun planned this afternoon. Good morning, Kilat.
Good morning, Jacob and Jess, and happy Halloween. I'm here at Charter House in downtown Rochester. Joining me now is Alicia Staub with Charter House, and she is going to give me a hand letting us know what we have to look forward to tonight. Alicia?
We're very excited. Tonight is our big Halloween party for kids in the community, and we have a wonderful haunted house, lots of games and activities, lots of candy.
And we're standing in the haunted house right now. It certainly looks like a lot of your staff got creative designing this place. Can you tell me a little bit about what makes this holiday so special to staff and residents?
Our Halloween party has been tradition for over 33 years that Charter House has been around. So it's something our staff and residents look forward to every year.
Nice. And there are also a few activities people have to look forward to besides the haunted house. There's a bouncy house. I'm sure the kids are going to love that. But what else can families really look forward to if they were to turn out tonight?
I think coming in, meeting with our residents, just having a really great time. Our staff are going to get dressed up. Residents will get dressed up. It'll be very fun.
So these hallways really are going to come to life this Halloween night, aren't they?
They absolutely will.
All right. So what exactly do you have picked out for your costume? I understand that you might be getting a little creative yourself.
Firefighters were on the scene of a rural house fire between Rochester and Elgin this morning. News Center's Kilat Fitzgerald was on the scene, and he joins us live in our studio with the latest on what happened. Good afternoon, Kilat.
Good afternoon, Jess. Family will need a new place to stay after half of their house was destroyed in a fire this morning. Firefighters from Elgin and Rochester responded at 7 o'clock this morning and rushed in to contain the fire. 2 adults and 2 children were inside. None of them were injured. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but it is believed by fire crews and the homeowner that it started on the outside of the house where the chimney for the wood-burning stove is located. The house is northeast of Rochester in a rural area on a dirt road, so tankers were brought in to help combat the fire. Olmsted County Rochester Fire and Olmsted County Sheriff's deputies also responded with Gold Cross Ambulance.
They had started the stove last night for the first time, and it ran all night, and this morning when they were leaving to get ready to go to work, she noticed smoke on the outside of the house.
Part of the roof collapsed from the flames. Firefighters extinguished most of the fire and began to mop up around 9 this morning. With the temperatures dropping, residents are reminded to keep items away from heat sources and to keep chimneys clean and cleared. Reporting live in the...
A manhunt for a suspect in Chatfield this morning has now been called off.
This stemming from a high-speed pursuit on I-90. News Center's Kilat Fitzgerald has been live throughout the morning in Chatfield and joins us with the latest. Kilat.
Jess and Jacob, the manhunt for a suspect in the woods near Chatfield has been called off. You can see the path left behind by the suspect as they fled through someone's yard. This happened during a pursuit for the suspect in a pickup truck that reached speeds of over 100 miles per hour. The chase began around 2:45 this morning and was headed westbound on I-90 in Winona County, at one point crossing the median and heading the wrong way eastbound. The chase ended in Chatfield after the suspect drove the truck onto another person's property and ditched the truck near the tree line. The officer in pursuit said he only got a glimpse of a male in a white T-shirt. A canine was called to assist with the search and a perimeter was established. The search was called off around 4:45 this morning. Police say the truck is registered out of Wisconsin and that the Minnesota license plates are stolen. We'll have more information on this story as it develops.
Jess Abrahamson. First at noon, a high-speed pursuit on I-90 leads to a manhunt in Chatfield. News Center's Kilat Fitzgerald was on the scene in Chatfield early this morning and joins us with more on what happened. Kilat.
It was a wild one, Jess. An early morning pursuit across multiple counties was called off after the suspect fled into a wooded area near Chatfield. The suspect escaped after tearing across a residential yard and ditching the pickup truck by the tree line. The chase began around 2:45 this morning and was headed westbound on I-90 in Winona County, at one point crossing the median and heading the wrong way eastbound. Police say the truck is registered out of Kenosha, Wisconsin, and that the Minnesota license plates are stolen. The pursuit reached speeds of over 100 miles per hour and involved deputies from Winona, Fillmore, and Olmsted County, as well as state patrol officers and the Chatfield Police Department. The Chatfield officer in pursuit said he only got a glimpse of a male in a white shirt before he ran into the woods. A canine unit was called in to assist with the search, and a perimeter was established around the area. The search was called off around 4:45 this morning.
We were coming up First Street, and we turned onto Old Territorial here. And when he decided to turn on the Old Territorial, I just saw sparks out the back of the vehicle. And I'm guessing that would be that tailgate came loose.
I got up about 3 o'clock this morning, was going to take some pills, and I saw a flash and heard a crash come through the yard. And then I saw the flashing lights coming right behind him. And from then on, I looked out. Officer told me to stay inside, so we just let them do their thing.
An Olmsted County deputy reportedly suffered from heat exhaustion during the pursuit, but is in good health after being treated by an ambulance at the scene. Michael Martin, the homeowner who witnessed the pursuit, said that the hillside swamps in the area would make it difficult for the suspect to stay hunkered down in the woods, and that there are several ways he could have escaped. Reporting live in the studio, Kilat Fitzgerald, KTTC News Center.
A program in Austin is teaching students the value of volunteering as they step out of the classroom and into the Humane Society. News Center's Kilat Fitzgerald just returned from Austin and joins us with more on what's happening there. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jess. It's more than just an opportunity to get out of the classroom. Austin High School's REACH program gives students the chance to build character while giving back to their community. REACH works with students to create a fun environment that helps them reach their goals. Today, they learned the value of volunteering as they rolled up their sleeves and cleaned the enclosures at the Humane Society. REACH stands for relationship, education, accountability, character, and hard work. Many students enter the program disliking school. Then they get the support they need to get back on track.
The Humane Society came to us and said they had some of their fall cleaning that was needed, and our kids jumped on board at the opportunity to help out. It's just a great way for them to make connections and do some projects outside of school that are a little more hands-on, and then just highlight some of their strengths. And yeah, it's pretty enjoyable getting to hang out with the animals for them too.
The program is supported by the Austin High School as well as the Hormel Foundation. If any community organizations in the Austin area could use some volunteers, students in the REACH program would be happy to help in whatever way they can.
Macyville's Brat Days have been going strong for more than 50 years.
A whole lot of activities took place this weekend just across the Iowa border. News Center's Kilat Fitzgerald takes us on a road trip to Stacyville.
Nothing captures the smell of summer more than brats on the grill.
Have you had your brat yet?
No, I haven't yet, so I have to wait, and that's probably my favorite now that you mention it. Yes, the brats are really good.
A small town in Iowa takes it up a notch, with more than 1,500 pounds of bratwurst ready for the heat. Brat Days has been a Stacyville tradition for the past 51 years and provides a chance for families to come together as one. It's an all-around community event. Volunteers donate their time, and the proceeds go to improvements that the whole town can enjoy. But there's more to the weekend than just brats and beer. Saturday's event, the Brat Trot, is another chance for locals to show their pride by scampering around the town with their neighbors.
For our 21st year, just started out as a project for a high school girl, and it is growing substantially. So we just have just a mob Saturday morning at 8 o'clock.
And every year we give it to an organization in the community that needs it. So
Tina May is that high school girl who started the Brat Trot and has since grown up.
the Brat Trot started 20 years ago as a 4-H project when I was in high school. And at the time, the town of Stacyville was raising money for a new library. And this was before there was a race for every cause. And in high school, a running buddy of mine, we had gotten really into going to other small towns to run their town races. And we thought, why can't we do this in Stacyville?
Decades later, Tina's contribution remains a strong part of the town's tradition.
Story one Winona family will be sharing for a lifetime. The birth of their son, who just couldn't wait for mom to get to the hospital. Kilat Fitzgerald spoke with this family this morning and joins us with more on their incredible story. Kilat.
Thanks, Jess. It's a beautiful moment when new life is brought into the world. However, one Winona couple was forced to improvise, giving birth on the shoulder of I-90 early Sunday morning. After calling the hospital, Jamie and Michael Hanratty of Winona thought they could make it to Gunderson Health System in La Crosse. But the baby had other plans. Luckily, Winona County Deputy Craig Wurzel had started his shift and arrived just in time to see the baby crown around 6:30. With nature already running its course, Wurzel kept his cool and delivered a healthy boy in the back of the family's Honda Odyssey. Little Oliver and his mother were then brought to Gunderson Health System in La Crosse by ambulance, where doctors were able to proclaim the boy was healthy. The family welcomed the news, breathing a sigh of relief that Wurzel was there to help.
When he pulled up, I was feeling like I needed to push, and I was feeling that he was coming fast, and I was saying, we need the ambulance now. So when the deputy pulled up, it was just that idea of, okay, there's someone here to help. We're not on our own with this.
The baby came out and handed it up to mom and wrapped it in a blanket and got it crying, and that was like, I can breathe. No, I've never held my breath that long, I don't think.
Deputy Wurzel adds that by coincidence, he too was a baby delivered by first responders. Jamie joked that her child insisted on being born in Minnesota. Today at noon, authorities asked the public for help finding a Wisconsin teenager whose parents were found dead. And Secretary of Defense James Mattis arrives in Vietnam for the second time this year. First at noon, a suspect connected to a Rochester homicide makes his first court appearance today. Good afternoon, I'm Kilat Fitzgerald filling in for Jess Abrahamson. A suspect in a homicide last month was scheduled to appear in court this morning. Police believe 19-year-old Darian Clindworth Woods was the getaway driver for his half-brother, 27-year-old Malcolm Woods from Rochester. Clindworth Woods is facing second-degree murder charges in the Olmsted County District Court for his involvement in the killing of Brandon Arndt. According to the criminal complaint, Brandon Arndt was targeted because the suspects believed he caused harm and sold bad drugs to Rosetta Barnes, a disabled next-door neighbor who had to be hospitalized. Police believe Malcolm Woods slipped convenience store plastic bags on his hands and feet before fatally shooting Arndt at his door in Rochester on September 10th. All suspects involved are grandchildren of Barnes. This is Clindworth Woods' initial Rule 8 hearing. Scariest horror movie? Well, this is my opinion played up against the poll, but I'm going to go with B, The Exorcist.
All right, well, I'll have to see how that bears out. We'll have the answer officially in a couple minutes, but you're going with B, though.
Yeah, going with B. We'll see if I'm right later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole, that stays with you.
That's, yeah, you don't forget that one, the pea soup, too.
We'll get the answer later on. Thanks, Dad.
All right.
The midterm elections are just a week away, and local candidates are meeting with students ahead of November 6th. Candidates running for nonpartisan offices like mayor, city council, and county attorney met with RCTC students inside the atrium. The RCTC Student Senate put on the event so students can register ahead of Election Day and to see where the candidates stand. Kim Norton, Mark Ostrom, Jeffrey Gerled, Patrick Keene, Heather Holmes, and Judy Hickey stopped by. Archery deer hunt season opener brought in the season's first case of chronic wasting disease, raising more concerns about CWD and its potential spread. Experts on CWD from Minnesota and Iowa met at Willow Creek Middle School over the weekend as part of an open question forum to learn more about the disease and how to combat it. The Bluffland Whitetails Association held the event because they felt there was some misunderstanding about the disease and that some hunters aren't taking it seriously. Every October, an unassuming structure in Harmony transforms into a scare factory, drawing huge crowds night after night. Monster Bash returns for its 7th year, promising major frights while benefiting the Fillmore Central Music Department. This year's theme is Road Trip. MinnesotaHauntedHouses.com named it 2017's best overall attraction, high honor for a project run mainly by volunteers. It's $10 to enter the haunted home at 150 First Street Northwest. Check it out through Thursday through Sunday this weekend and next, along with Halloween night. Coming up on the News Center at noon, embrace this autumn weather with the Olmsted Harvest Festival. But first, we'll look at the steps being taken to stop aquatic hitchhikers from spreading in our waterways. Stay with us. There is now a 7th confirmed case in Minnesota of a rare paralyzing illness similar to polio. It's called AFM, and it matches the 6 other cases in the state. This week, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said there are at least 62 confirmed AFM cases across the country, with another 65 still under investigation. Similar waves of the same illness popped up in 2014 and 2016. CDC officials say they haven't found the cause. Mountains of debris and shattered lives. Just over a week has passed since Hurricane Michael tore through the California Panhandle.
And for some, the recovery process will be lengthy. John Lawrence has